Did you know a Persian widow once ruled one of the largest empires on earth and almost nobody talks about it? Her name was Nur Jahan. She arrived at the Mughal court as a minor attendant, a widow with no real power and no obvious path to any. Then Emperor Jahangir saw her. Within a year, she was his empress. But she didn't stop there. She began sitting behind a lattice screen during court sessions, whispering decisions that Jahangir would then announce as his own. Officials quickly learned who actually held the power. For over a decade, she issued imperial edicts in her own name. She directed military campaigns. She had coins minted with her face on them, something almost no woman in Mughal history had ever done. Jahangir was brilliant but increasingly dependent on opium. Nur Jahan filled every gap he left behind. She built alliances, outmaneuvered rivals, and shaped an empire of roughly 100 million people. Not through birth, not through force. Through intelligence sharp enough to bend an entire system designed to stop her. Did you know a Persian widow once ruled one of the largest empires on earth and almost nobody talks about it? Her name was Nur Jahan. She arrived at the Mughal court as a minor attendant, a widow with no real power and no obvious path to any. Then Emperor Jahangir saw her. Within a year, she was his empress. But she didn't stop there. She began sitting behind a lattice screen during court sessions, whispering decisions that Jahangir would then announce as his own. Officials quickly learned who actually held the power. For over a decade, she issued imperial edicts in her own name. She directed military campaigns. She had coins minted with her face on them, something almost no woman in Mughal history had ever done. Jahangir was brilliant but increasingly dependent on opium. Nur Jahan filled every gap he left behind. She built alliances, outmaneuvered rivals, and shaped an empire of roughly 100 million people. Not through birth, not through force. Through intelligence sharp enough to bend an entire system designed to stop her. Did you know a soldier kept fighting a war for 29 years after it ended because nobody with the right authority told him to stop? Hiru Onoda was a Japanese intelligence officer sent to the Philippine island of Lubang in 1944. His orders were simple: fight until relieved, never surrender. Then the war ended in 1945. Onoda didn't stop. He kept hiding in the jungle, running guerrilla operations, surviving on bananas and whatever he could find. Leaflets were dropped saying Japan had surrendered. He thought it was enemy propaganda. He knew the war was declared over. He just refused to believe the proof. For 29 years, he kept fighting. Finally, in 1974, the Japanese government tracked down his elderly former commanding officer, Major Yoshimi Taniguchi, and flew him deep into that Philippine jungle just to personally deliver the order to stand down. Onoda walked out of the jungle at 52 years old, rifle still in hand. He returned to a Japan he didn't recognize. The country he had been fighting for had already rebuilt itself into one of the world's great economies. Absolute loyalty, taken all the way to its end, looks like this. Did you know Haiti won the only successful slave revolution in history and then got punished for it for over a century? In 1804, enslaved people in Haiti did the impossible. They defeated Napoleon's army and declared themselves free. It was one of the greatest military upsets the world had ever seen. But France wasn't done. A few years later, French warships appeared off the Haitian coast. The message was simple: pay us, or we blockade your ports and strangle your economy. The payment demanded was 150 million francs, meant to compensate the former slaveholders for their losses. The people who had been enslaved would now pay for their own freedom, and Haiti paid. It took over a century. The final payments weren't made until 1947. Economists who studied the debt calculated it drained Haiti of resources that could have built schools, roads, and hospitals for generations. Most history books close the story at the moment of victory, but the real story started the morning after. Did you know there was a war deadlier than World War I that almost nobody in the West has ever heard of? In the 1830s, a Chinese man named Hong Xiuquan failed his government entrance exam 4 times. The shame broke him. He fell into a fever and had visions. When he woke up, he was convinced he was the younger brother of Jesus Christ, sent to purify China. People believed him. By 1850, he had an army. By 1853, he had captured Nanjing and declared it the capital of his heavenly kingdom. His forces numbered in the millions. He rewrote Christian scripture, banned alcohol, and separated men and women into different armies. The fighting lasted 14 years. When it finally ended, somewhere between 20 and 30 million people were dead. More than all of World War I combined. And here is the part that should stop you cold. While this was happening, the American Civil War was being fought on the other side of the world. The bloodiest century in history was not playing out where most people think it was. Did you know one of Egypt's greatest rulers was erased so completely that historians forgot she ever existed for over 3,000 years? Hatshepsut became pharaoh around 1478 BC. Not queen, not regent, pharaoh. She wore the double crown, the ceremonial beard, the full regalia of a king. Under her rule, Egypt thrived. She sent a legendary trade expedition to the mysterious land of Punt, returning with gold, ivory, and exotic trees. She built one of the most stunning temples in Egyptian history, carved directly into a cliffside at Deir el-Bahari. Then she died, and someone got to work. Her name was chiseled off monuments. Her face was hacked away from temple walls. Statues of her were smashed and buried. Whoever ordered it wanted her gone from history entirely. It almost worked. For 33 centuries, she simply did not exist in the historical record. Then, in the 1800s, archaeologists noticed something strange. Beneath the damage, traces remained. A cartouche here, a faint outline there. The very monument someone tried to destroy became the evidence that brought her back, which makes you wonder how many others weren't so lucky. Did you know hundreds of people once danced themselves to death, and the city's response made everything worse? In July 1518, a woman named Frau Trophia stepped into a street in Strasbourg and started dancing. She couldn't stop. Not after an hour, not after a day. After 4 days, she was still moving. Within a month, around 400 people had joined her, dancing through blisters, through bleeding feet, through total exhaustion. Some died from heart failure. Some just collapsed. Physicians examined them. Priests recorded it. City officials documented every detail. This was real. And then the authorities made their decision. They hired musicians. They cleared a stage. Their theory was that the dancers needed to dance it out, so the city would help them finish. It made things worse. Historians have studied this event for centuries. Some say it was mass hysteria driven by famine and disease. Others point to a toxic fungus. A few have no explanation at all. Nobody knows the true cause. The dancing plague of 1518 remains one of history's most documented and most unsolved mysteries. Did you know a Roman emperor was captured alive, and his enemy turned his body into a temple decoration? In 260 AD, Emperor Valerian marched his army east to fight the Persian king Shapur I. It should have been a show of Roman power. Instead, it became the worst moment in Roman history. Shapur captured Valerian alive. No Roman emperor had ever been taken prisoner by a foreign enemy, not once, and Shapur made sure everyone knew it. He used Valerian as a human stepping stool to mount his horse. When Valerian finally died in captivity, Persian accounts say Shapur had his skin stuffed and hung inside a temple as a trophy. Rome scrambled to save face. Officials claimed Valerian had only gone east to negotiate peace. A diplomatic mission, they said. Nothing more. But Shapur had already won that argument. He carved the moment of capture directly into a cliff face in what is now Iran. The King of Kings kneeling before no one, Valerian kneeling before him. That carving still exists today. Rome's version does not. Did you know a US president once admitted his own country committed an illegal coup and Congress just ignored him? In 1893, American sugar plantation owners wanted Hawaii. They had money, they had influence, and they had a plan. When Queen Liliuokalani tried to strengthen her own constitution, the plantation owners moved fast. US Marines landed on the island, claiming they were there to protect American lives. Within days, the Queen was removed from her throne and placed under house arrest inside her own palace. She surrendered without a fight. She believed the United States would do the right thing. And at first, it seemed like they might. President Grover Cleveland investigated, called the overthrow illegal, and demanded she be reinstated. Congress refused. The sugar barons kept power. 5 years later, under a new president, Hawaii was formally annexed. But here is the part that stays with you. While imprisoned in her palace, Liliuokalani wrote some of the most beautiful music in Hawaiian history. She lost her kingdom. She never stopped creating. Hawaii became a US state in 1959. The coup that started it all is rarely called what it was.